Hi guys, so as you saw in my prior video, I show you that I made a flower, and today I will show you how to make that flower. So what you're gonna need is I have 12-inch balloons right here in the Tiffany blue teal color, and I also have some 260 stretchy balloons. Now the 260s, basically what I did is they come like this and I just cut them in half, okay? So I'm only using half of the balloon. And this flower in particular will be about, I will say, 5 petals maybe. I'll play it by ear, but basically what we're trying to accomplish is this right here. For now, okay, until it becomes a nice petal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to do the same size as this. I'm not gonna start rolling them or anything yet until I kind of see that they're kind of the same size. So what you're gonna do first is you're gonna grab your half of your balloon. Now this part may be a pain only because you know how regular stretchy balloons have this little roll on it? When you cut them in half, this doesn't. So it's trickier to place your manual pump on it. But basically, you're gonna try to find a way, wiggle it in there. You may have to stretch it a little bit like that. Just like that. And you're gonna stretch your balloon. All the way, just like this, okay? All the way. So this is just basically to stretch your balloon, and then you're gonna take the air out. This will make your balloon stretchier, okay? Hi guys, so once you have your 260 half of the balloon, you're gonna fold it in half, making sure the air is out, and your balloon should be already stretched. And you will be inserting your 260 folded inside your 12-inch balloon, leaving the nozzle and the tip of the 260 outside. And as you see, making sure that they don't get lost inside the balloon, I start pumping air. There's not a specific count of pumps for the 12-inch balloon. I just wanted to make it big to give my 260 some room to inflate inside. And as you can see now, I'm going to be putting the mouth of my hand pump inside the nozzle of the 260 balloon. And as I mentioned before, when you cut the 260 in half, they don't have the little fold, which makes it trickier to insert the pump. But once you get it in there, you're gonna count. Make sure that you don't lose your ends and they're secure in there. And now you're gonna proceed to count to 5 pumps, okay? Now, the balloon inside, I'm not sure you can see it through the screen, but it's inflated. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the 2 ends of the 260 and proceed to make your knots to secure the air inside. Now, you wanna make sure you make 2 knots, that way it doesn't deflate. If your 12-inch balloon starts deflating while you're making knots, that's okay too. It doesn't really matter. You can always inflate air back. So the most important thing right now is just make sure that you make your knots, which it is tricky, you guys. That's why you see me struggling a little bit. But once you get it all in there, squeeze the air out, and that's what you're gonna be left with. These are petals. They might not look like petals just yet, but because I have to make about 5 of them, I just want to win time. So I'm just gonna start inserting them in, stretching my balloons, and then I'm gonna re-inflate them to make the petal. So now I have a total of 5 to 6 petals altogether, and you want to be as consistent as you can with the size. So now I'm going to pump some air in my balloon. again, I don't have an amount of pumps. It's just to give enough room for my balloon to be squeezed. So anyway, so now you see the nozzle is gonna face away from me. I'm gonna put it against the table and by my chest and let some air out while holding the sides of my balloon. And you want to have like a surface that is not going to slide your balloon. And I'm going to proceed to roll it just like that, and that will create that petal bend effect. While you're rolling, the air will come out of the 260, and you want that so it can like kind of like make it suck the air out pretty much, right? And you're just gonna tie your balloon, and that's one petal. Look how pretty that looks. All right, so we're gonna make it again. I have my regular petal right here. I'm gonna pump some air. It doesn't matter how much, just enough to give you time to make the distortion. Just, you know, pump some air, find your balloon inside, put it against your chest, nozzle away from you, start letting some air out while rolling your balloon. Okay? Roll it a couple times, and the more you roll it, the more bent your petal will be. So just fix it, adjust it to your liking. But that's pretty much it, you guys. That's how you get your petal. Look at that. And if by any chance one petal is bigger than the other, just do not worry, because at the end when you're gonna make the flower together, people won't really notice the difference. But you want to be as you know, same size, closest to the size as possible. Alright, so while you have your petals all together, what you're going to do is you're going to put some hot glue or glue dots or double-sided tape along the edge of your petal to pretty much just glue it with the other one. In this case, I'm using a low heat glue gun, and that's basically what's gonna work for me. I tried the glue dots, but for some reason, although they're good, I feel like at a certain point they start like coming apart. So you can still use the glue dots and double-sided tape, and I think it'll do a good job, but I tried to do it with the hot glue gun, and it worked better. Just be careful to not pop your balloon, because word of advice, once you pop that balloon with the glue, it could like land all over your hands, to be honest with you. And now, while I wait for my glue gun to heat up, I'm going to do the middle of my flower. So these are 5-inch chrome gold balloons, and I'm going to inflate them to capacity to deflate them again. I just want to make sure I stretch my 5-inch balloons so that I can manage it better and twist it better. So I'm inflating, deflating, as you see, and I'm going to take a lot of air out to almost like reduce my balloon to almost like a 2-inch balloon. I don't want to put that much air. I want it really tiny, because once you squeeze it, trust me, that's how, maybe even tinier than that. There you go. So I'm gonna make a knot, and I'm gonna twist this one balloon into 4 little balloons. Yep, you heard it. So you see how it's almost squishy like? Okay, so I'm gonna soften my balloon, and I'm gonna put the nozzle between my fingers, just like that, and I'm gonna press down to squeeze it, to basically twist it in the middle to create 2 balloons. Put my nozzle around a couple times. Alright, and now I'm gonna squeeze each side into 2 as well. it's a little tricky, you guys, because balloons could pop. I mean, they have popped for me before. So that's why you want to put very little air, because once you twist it into 4, it's gonna get really tight in there. So, you know, I'm still struggling. Sometimes I'm scared of balloons a bit. So now I have my 4, and I'm gonna interlock them in place, kind of like you will do with a quad of balloons, okay? Just to make sure and secure it in there. The stretchier your balloon is, the better, more manageable it will be, not as tight, but that's why you want to stretch your balloon at the beginning. All right, and there you have it. How cute is this little cluster, right? So this will be the middle of my balloon, and all I'm really gonna do after that is just attach a 260. So now I am testing my glue gun because I want to make sure I start putting my petals together. So when you glue your petals together, just so you know, you guys, it doesn't matter how big one petal is versus the other, just guide yourself always looking at the top of the petal. And I'm slightly putting some glue in there, see? And just marry it together. I will just blow on it to help the cooling portion of it go faster, because it could take a bit. It's not like glue dots, right? You're gonna take some time to cool it. So you'll find me sometimes I'll just blow on the hot glue. And there you go, you guys. Then the next balloon will come once these have cooled off. Okay, you guys, so now that it cooled off a bit, now I'm going to move on to my next petal, okay? So I'm going to grab a petal, measure it to know where my glue is going to go. If a petal is bigger than the other one, it doesn't matter, as long as you're following the top of the balloon. Nobody gets to see the lower part of my petal, because that will be covered with the center. So just put some glue in there, and you just measure it and hold it down. You just have to have a lot of patience. Just don't rush the process, because you can easily pop a balloon. Now, sorry guys, I had to voice record this. I intended to talk to you guys live while I was doing the arrangement, the flower, but the thing is, I have a little bit of like allergy season and I'm a little sniffly, a little congested, so I didn't want to appear, you know, on camera. I've just been feeling under the weather a bit, so and plus my son was running around making all sorts of noises, so I had to kind of block the noise out. Anyways, you guys see how beautiful this is. Now you could just leave it like that, but I personally want to make sure my petals are very tight together. So now I'm going to hot glue the top of my balloons. Okay, so same thing, you put a bit of the hot glue on the top, and just do the same process. Just marry it together to the next petal. And why? Because I don't know, I love the what do you call it? I love the fact that the petal is all together. It looks just, you know, all together. I don't necessarily like my petals to be separated. So you see, I'm just marrying the top, and you do the same exact process. Could you have done this earlier on? Yes, absolutely. And this is what it looks like when it's all together. That's what the back looks like. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start marrying the nozzles together. And you don't have to do this step. I do it because I want to make sure that I secure my flower in place. Okay, but you don't have to necessarily do this. You can just cut the nozzles and call it a day. Or what I've seen a lot of people do is they put a base, a balloon base on the back. I'm not gonna do that in this case. I'm just gonna leave it as that. And that's it. So now I'm gonna place, well, I wanna kind of marry this other single nozzle to the ones right next to it, and that will kind of form a barrier also for my middle of my balloon. Just don't force it too much, you guys, because again, you don't want to put so much tension on your petals, okay? I'm sorry, I still have the sniffly nose. But once that gets done, then I'm going to place my middle of my flower. I know it's taken a bit, but you guys, you know, there's a lot of patience going on these arrangements, and sometimes your fingers hurt, but I have a vision, and my vision was, okay, I need to secure each petal. So I love how it looks, and on camera it looks really shiny, but when you touch the flower so much, they start becoming very opaque. So eventually I will use the solution, the high shine, so it can be extra shiny for you guys. But anyway, so I'm gonna grab the leftover 260 that I cut in half and secure my little cluster, which will serve as the middle of my flower. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a knot to secure it, and I'm just gonna place it in the middle with the leftover balloon on the back. Can you make a bigger cluster? You surely can. Whatever cluster you decide, you can make. I just like the feel of that tiny little cluster. And that nozzle I'm gonna marry to one of the nozzles from the petals. And guess what, you guys, this nozzle will always serve to attach this flower to my piece, okay? And there you have it. This is what the flower looks like. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a lovely weekend and see you on the next video.